Welcome to Mighty Married Moms. Join us at our kitchen table twice a week as the Mighty Married Moms, Debbie, Linda, Wendy,
invite spectacular guests to weigh in on staying sexy, vibrant, and healthy,
building marriages with soul-satisfying connection, raising happy, healthy, successful kids. Conversations with Mighty Married Moms will bring you closer to the life you really want. Episode 87.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mighty Married Moms. My name is Wendy Williams. I'm from connectagain.org.
Linda Tighe from All Well Breaks Loose.
And Debbie Owen from You Can Raise Great Kids.
And we are here today very excited to have with us a brand strategist from Encore Revolution. Laura Willis is a brand positioning expert and strategist who's created award-winning web and print communications to help local, national, and global companies stand apart from the competition. With over 25 years experience working in advertising agencies and corporations, as well as in her own business, her real-world expertise spans a wide range of vertical industries. With the launch of Encore Revolution, Laura's speaking engagements, educational programs, and consulting combine her brand development process with personal growth and awareness work to inspire business professionals to align with their deeper mission and purpose, give it an authentic voice, and position them for even greater success. This is a very exciting bio, I got to tell you. Yeah.
It sounds good when you read it, too.
Well, it is good. It is good. We had the pleasure of meeting you at an event in Boston, and we just were like, this woman, we really need to talk with her because she is really setting, blazing a trail, in my mind, for women in their, more creative years to say, what can I do next? There's something inside of me that needs to be birthed and move forward. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to have you here. So thanks so much.
We're all very excited.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So thanks so
I'm
much.
really honored to be here, and I love talking about this. So I'm excited to share it with people and to help give them a voice to step into what they really meant to do and meant to be. So.
Great. Well, how did you get from where you were prior to being a brand strategist and somebody that helps women with personal growth and development?
Okay, so my background has been in advertising agencies in the corporate environment. So I had the brand strategy piece of it, but I was in that role. In my role in that was as a graphic designer. So I had my own aha moment, or I call it my Encore Revolutionary moment, when I was actually writing my dad's eulogy. And I don't want to be Debbie Downer here or anything, but when you're looking at writing someone's eulogy, obviously you're looking at what are all the positive aspects in their life. And for me, I was sort of at a point where I wasn't feeling as excited about the work I was doing. I wasn't feeling as fulfilled. And I really had no clue what else I could do next. And what happened when I was writing his eulogy, and I started thinking, well, what would I want someone to write about me when I'm not here on the planet anymore? And better yet, how do I need to live it now? And so that was that was my aha revolutionary moment where I knew that I needed to do some more exploration and figure out what I wanted to do. So it came through meditation and a lot of inner exploration that I love to teach. And the word teach came up when I was meditating one day. And frankly, I didn't even know what to teach. But what I also started to do was look at what I could bring. Like, what can I bring to the table? And with my experience in helping businesses, large to small, with their brands, it was like, how can I apply this to people who really need it out there? And what happened was, as well, in my business experience, I was doing a bunch of research with two colleagues, and we were trying to help businesses target baby boomers. And I'm a baby boomer. Baby boomers are born between 1946 and 64 with a little...
We're all baby boomers.
Yeah. Right. So in that work and in that research, I also found that the baby boomers in particular are the largest segment starting businesses. And they're also the largest segment who are very philanthropic. And so looking at both of those, I realized it wasn't so much the companies that needed to target the baby boomers that needed help, but the baby boomers themselves who were starting businesses. So baby boomers may bring a lot of experience to the table from their past careers or all throughout their lives really, but don't really necessarily have the experience or the marketing knowledge to figure out how to give it a voice.
So what would you say would be the 3 top things so that we can unpack them for the rest of the time? What would be the 3 top things that a entrepreneurial, a newly revived baby boomer can do with you that you can help bring them along and help their dreams come true? What would be the 3 top things? And let's dive in.
Okay. So what I help people to do is to reconnect with their passion in the beginning, because they have to uncover what it is they really want to do. And in some cases, they already have an idea. They already have had something they've wanted to do forever. It's been a dream. So those people are great because they're already starting on the path, and then we can really dive into the message and really why they want to go in that direction. So the key thing is that people have to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah.
They have to understand why they want to do it.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is to wrap that into the message that's authentic and truly authentic. So it's not really a sales pitch, but they have to understand how to connect with others to attract people to the work they want to do.
That's awesome. So really identify what they want to do, identify the why behind why they want to take on this new adventure.
Right.
And then thirdly, how to actually align themselves with people who are thinking the same things, like, I want that and I have that, let's get together.
Right.
That's great. That's great. So do you help people identify that? Is that part of the process that you work with? Or do they come to you saying, this is what I want to do, I'm clear?
I focus mostly on people that have some kind of an idea on what direction they want to go in, but I have been more recently working, because of the need there is, to help people to actually identify what it is they want to do. And some of that, like, there are tools and techniques and exercises that I can use to help people to get there. Although I do it more from an intuitive kind of going within perspective. There are a lot of people that will use analytics and skill sets and things like that. So there's some of that comes into play, but I go more like to tap into your body. What do you get excited about? You know, how do you feel when you're talking to people about things that you love, so that they can kind of reconnect with that passion.
So it's it's kind of interesting, isn't it, Laura, that, people think, if I'm going to build a business, I need to know how to market. I need to have the best website out there. I need to have all these tools, when the most important thing is going within, right? And really find that passion, because when you identify that passion, people will be able to connect to you a lot better. And I know I've heard people say, forget about the website, forget about all that when you're starting. Like, that's important, but the most important thing is really the inner work. And I think that seems to be coming out as a more prevalent thing now. People are starting to recognize the importance of that. Would you say?
Well, exactly, because the whole reason why we have, and why I name my business Encore Revolution, is because people are at that life stage where they are looking at that. And it's not limited to the baby boomers either, that I found out. And I love the fact that your series here is called Mighty Married Moms. The other target and the people that have been attracted to what I'm doing is mothers who are in like their late 30s, early 40s, who want to have a lifestyle where they can have a business, use the skills they learned. Most of them are college educated, skills that they've learned, but also have a flexible work style where they can have their own business and have time with their children. And then also, they all seem to have a burning desire to show or set an example for their children that anything is possible, that going to college and getting a job isn't always the only way to go.
Absolutely. How I feel. Yeah.
I just had a conversation with a client the other day. It's actually I still do some design work, so on occasion. So that client was telling me that she just had a conversation with friends of hers who were in their 40s, and that they were all kind of looking at that same thing. Like, how can I have a job where I don't have to commute every day? How can I have a job where I love what I do, people are waking up to that. They don't want the rat race anymore. It's like, what for?
Let me ask you about this though, Laura, because as we have all discovered, it's actually extremely time consuming to start a business. And so, so if you're talking to people who are kind of thinking about starting a business so that they will have more time freedom, I mean, that doesn't happen right away. So what do you tell them?
I think it's that investment up front. I think the other thing is that you work with people like you or like myself to speed up the process as well. So if they can align with someone who is a business specialist in the sense of helping you do a business plan and understand some of the basics around starting a business, that can help accelerate the process. And then obviously if you work with someone like myself who can help you get the message together, then that's going to also accelerate your business. And I wanted to just quickly touch on why the connecting to the why is so important, because there is science behind it. It's actually rooted in biology, and actually
say more about that.
Yeah, so Simon Sinek is a gentleman who I sort of fell in love with because of how he explains the why.
Absolutely. Love. Yeah.
I love Simon. And I was so excited when
Would you mind recapping it for the people in the audience who may not know Simon Sinek and how he outlines and frames the why?
Absolutely. So he talks about the fact, he calls it the golden circle. And I was almost going to bring a little diagram for us today. It has the outer part of the circle is the what, the next ring inside the circle is the how, and the center is the why. And he talks about the fact that everybody knows what they do. Some people know how they do it, which some people hear the term unique selling proposition. It's like your unique way of doing it. But not a lot of people communicate from the why, and that's the most important. And the reason why that's most important is because it's the way your brain works. So the outer part of the brain is the neocortex, and the inner part of the brain is the limbic brain. Well, the outer part of the brain is the rational part. It's where your brain's taking in everything around you. It also controls language, but the inner part of the brain doesn't control language, but it's where emotions come from. It's where your decision making comes from. It's where those where trust and just all of that, the emotional and deeper stuff comes from. But it does not control language, as I said. So that's the challenge when you're really connecting to what's deep within you. Sometimes you can't put the words to it because it's not connecting. It's where your gut reactions come from. It's where that feeling comes from when you have a good feeling about somebody or something, or a negative feeling.
I can't put it into words.
Exactly. Which is why so many times when someone's business is really coming from their heart, they have a hard time putting the words to it.
Sign me up. We'll talk later. I identify with that. Totally identify with that.
And so this is really great, Laura, because what you're talking about is helping people connect to the inner part, the inner wisdom that they have, their inner passion, the thing that is important to them, and recognizing that it is very difficult to put words to it. How many times, I'm in a number of groups online where people talk about, I don't have my message right. I know what I want to do and I just can't get it out there. I mean, how would you help somebody in that situation?
So I do have a process that I walk through, and I call it coming from the core. So I align core with what Simon calls the why. And I also make core connect with heart, because I truly believe that what is coming from within you is really coming from your heart. So I break down the process into the core process. And so it's connect, it's optimize, it's revolutionize, it's engage, and then it's also energize. I have a second E on the end. And so that process is really the work. I use exercises, things like a unique brilliance exercise. I actually do a little bit of, I don't want to call it meditation, but there are quiet moments where people just can connect in with their body when they want to identify what really excites them. or when they're really just not feeling it. If you don't have the energy when you're talking about what you're doing, I call energize the most important part, because if you don't have the energy around it, then people aren't going to connect to it. They're going to wonder why you're not excited about it. Passion is really contagious. So
the way that I describe that energy is, they pay me to do this. That's where I describe the energy, that you could talk about it or be involved in it or read about it or dialogue about it for hours, and all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, it's, where did the time go?
Right.
And that to me is a real sign that you're in your groove, in your spot, your sweet spot.
Right. And that they're connecting with that too. They're feeling the same energy. And that's, I've been seeing research recently about energy, and it's so important, and science is catching up with what, heart math, they can test your energy 10 feet out from your body, and they can feel, with scientific equipment, and determine if you're in a positive energy or negative energy. So it really is based in science, and that's what I love about finding about that now, because I've always told clients that they need to connect emotionally with their target audience, and I could never really say, but it's because of how your brain works, or, and now I can. So, the research is showing.
Do you have something that if the person who might be in their car right now listening to this, or on the treadmill, that they could actually do? Is there something that we could learn right here on the spot to kind of connect with that why?
I would say one of the great exercises is to look at, think about things that really excited you in the past. So it could be a really big accomplishment that you had at a job that you had. It could be something that in your personal life that was like a life-changing moment, something that really excited you, things that turn you on, and it doesn't have to be work-related. So that can kind of start to put you in the flow of what is it that you really want to do, and what kinds of things that you need to incorporate in that next step that are going to keep you excited.
So reconnect with some past juice, some past excitement.
Right, because then you can start to look at, well, what was it about that
Exactly.
that excited me? Like, I can use an example of a person that was in one of my recent programs. She's a financial advisor, and she's still a financial advisor. And so she didn't really come to me for like changing her whole career or anything, but she really needed to get reconnected and re-energized about her business, or else she was going to look for something else.
Yeah.
And what the process did for her was to help her to reconnect with her why, and why she did the business in the first place. So we went way back to when she first became a financial advisor, and she realized all of those aspects of why she got into it in the first place. She loved helping people. Most of the people that I work with all say, I love helping people.
Right.
Yeah.
I love helping them help people, because I think that's so important. The world needs more of us that want to help people and want to do good things in the world. And I really believe that the more of us that align with what our purpose and our passion is, and we're positive about it, and we're bringing that positive energy to the world, that ripple effect just continues, and we don't realize how much of a difference we can make in the big picture.
It's so interesting that you say that. And I'll tell you, I was with a gentleman yesterday. I met up with a gentleman who is a relationship coach with other men. And so I was seeing if there was possibilities of working together with him on projects or whatever. And he said one of his core messages with the men that he works with is to teach them, show them, coach them to ask for help. And he said, if everybody in the world asked for the help that they needed, it would be a very different world. So
Absolutely.
What was striking me about what you just said was all of your clients want to help people. We need people to say, here I am, I need help.
Right.
Not we need it, but the flow would work better if people would stop suppressing, like, oh, I better not tell anybody that I need help in this area, that I'm a little bit, we're all, we all have skills and strengths and abilities, and somebody else has strengths and abilities that offset ours, and wouldn't it be great to get together and help one another out?
Right.
So it's just very, very interesting to me that I've heard this twice in 2 days.
Yeah, and usually that's a sign. So.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'll do is, I mentioned the unique brilliance exercise. That can also help you to identify what you're good at and what you're not so good at, and the things that you're not good at or that you don't even love to do are the things where you should partner up with people that love to do that. It's like that's what makes you more powerful, because then you're really focused on the things that you love bringing to the world, that you're good at, all of those things. And when you can hand off or partner with, I prefer partner with people who kind of fill in the gaps of the things that you don't love to do. I actually just met someone. I don't really love doing the lead generation stuff, and I just met someone who absolutely loves doing that. So we're partnering up, and his business really does align with what I'm doing. So,
Right.
we're that all
Perfect. So you're linking arms with another person. So you're modeling exactly what it is that you're suggesting that we all do.
Right.
Which is
I just wanted to mention a Brene Brown thing I was watching one day if you love Brene, I love her too. And she was talking about, when you were talking about asking for help, she was saying that if we believe that others need help, that we're in judgment of them.
Oh.
And if we feel like we can't ask for help, then we're being just as judgmental, and that we really need to, the only way that we can help others is when we ask for help ourselves, because then we're not in judgment anymore. The playing field's equal.
That makes perfect sense.
That really aligns.
So let me push back a little bit on that. So if you say that we shouldn't expect that, we shouldn't judge that other people need help, and yet by offering our services, we are
by default.
Yeah, we're saying, I know people need what I have to offer.
Right.
I mean, so that doesn't really align for me.
Well, in her case, in what she was saying about it is that we at least have to accept that we need help too, in order
I have no problem with that.
Right. So if you're already accepting the fact that nobody's perfect, essentially what it comes down to is nobody's perfect. So we shouldn't be in judgment of others, yet we know we want to provide their services. So we look at it more from a perspective of enhancing their lives or contributing to their growth or whatever it is, so that their lives can be better, but also in the same tone that we know our lives can always be better, and that we should be open to help and services from others. And as I said, that's how your business grows. So
right. So we don't go in with the approach that I know more than you, or I'm above you somehow. I also seek help. We all seek help, and there's nothing to feel ashamed or bad about. It's part of life. It's how we grow, and there's enough abundance and successes and miracles for everybody in the world. And if we would, ask for help and go out there and find it, it's there.
Right. And it really is sharing our gifts when you think about it. It's whatever that we bring, and if you look at it more from a sharing perspective, then, I think that's what it's all about. It's, even when I was doing my inner work, it's like, what can I bring? How can I use the talents that I have and kind of expand on it, and then also feel fulfilled and excited myself.
Yeah, totally. It's interesting. We do that for our kids very easily. We can identify, in our children, our nieces and nephews, their unique gifts, and like, oh yeah, I'm going to bring them to the museum because they're going to really love the artwork, or I'm going to bring them to a Red Sox game because he's so excited about it. We recognize gifts, but yet somehow the aging process or whatever, growing up in the society, we kind of tamp down our own unique value proposition that we bring to the world, so I think that's what happens with women in their 40s, 30s, whatever, is all of a sudden it's like knocking at your heart going, you can't keep me in here forever. I beg you, let me have expression.
Right. Yeah. And I think sometimes women don't always see the value they bring. That was something that's come up recently for a few people, that they sort of discount the knowledge that they have. One of my clients she's a health and wellness, and Linda, I know you are, she's a health and wellness coach, and her unique aspect is that she's also a chef. She was a chef before she became a health and wellness coach. And she always kind of puts that aside, like that's not that important. But I keep reminding her how important that is and how wonderful a gift that is, because especially with thinking about healthy food, most people have the perception that it doesn't taste good.
Right.
It's hard to make or whatever. And she knows how to make it easy and how to make it taste good.
Yeah.
So that's a huge, unique selling point for her.
Totally.
And it's not a selling point. She's not really selling. She's just being who she is.
Exactly.
And I think women in particular do have a harder time really promoting themselves in that way. I think men have no issues at all, and I'm not trying to be, judgmental.
We've all sat in classes and seen it, I went to a women's college, thank you.
I think they're the first ones to step up and say, hey, I did this, or, accomplished this feat, or whatever it is. And women have a tendency to kind of hold back and not even acknowledge their accomplishments. And that's one of the things in my program we always talk about are, what are the accomplishments? And week to week, sometimes people overlook it still, it's like, they get so caught up in all the craziness and then forget that, I actually did that this week, like when they're feeling like, I didn't get anything done. Where did the week go? And all of a sudden it was like, well, I really did accomplish something, and I'll have to point it out for them to see it sometimes. And people do that for me too. I'm the same way. I'm just as guilty. I forget to celebrate the successes,
Yeah. One last question, because we're just about out of time, but I know that you've talked about having a balance between vulnerability and credibility. Can you just explain that just a little bit before we end up here?
Yeah. So it's really important when you're creating your message to make it powerful, that it has that balance between vulnerability and credibility. And by that I mean, when you're sharing that personal story, you need to share that personal side of you. You need to share that why, so that you connect emotionally with people. But you don't want to leave out that credible side, like we were just talking about, those skills that you bring to the table, that experience that you bring, that bring the credible side to what you're doing, so that people, it's not a TMI situation where you're giving them way too much personal information, but you are connecting enough on that level so that you've made that click, you've made that gut reaction and feeling connection with somebody. And yet you're also sharing the credible side, that experience that you bring to the table and what you can help them with. And it is aligning with what their needs are too, because it's understanding people don't really like to be sold to anymore. They really want to connect with people. Another Brene Brown thing, she talks about how as humans we crave connection. So what better way to make that connection with people so that it's only going to help your business when you do that. But you just have to be conscious of that balance so that you're not just going into all of that experience. I know I've got 30 years experience and all of that, but it's the vulnerable side too. Like I shared my story of writing my dad's eulogy. And when I share that with people, they go, oh, wow. And sometimes I get a little sad. I'm like, no, I look at it as a really positive experience. Yeah. But then they'll sort of connect with whatever their aha moment might have been if they've already had one. And that's when you make that connection. Sometimes they even use the example of people talking about their pets when they're at a networking event or something, and they start whipping out the iPhones and showing their pets because they're part of their family. Well, when you connect with someone, even talking about their pets, it might seem trivial, but subconsciously you've made a connection with them on a level, like especially if you love pets and you have the picture of yours on your iPhone, that you've connected with them on a core value level. You've connected with them on a deeper level because you're already understanding that they have a connection with you because you both believe that your pet's a part of the family. You both have that caring and nurturing about your pets. So, you know, it might seem like a silly thing, but sometimes it can be an icebreaker. And on that subconscious level, you're really connecting with someone. And it's like, maybe I want to learn more about this person. People really do business with people, not the business.
Yeah, and you're right. It's such a different mentality than the way we came up as being trained, if you will, to be professionals. I was trained as a registered nurse. Debbie was trained as a teacher. You were trained as a teacher. And I don't know, I'll speak for myself, but certainly nurses, we were in there. It was all about business. Like I am, you know, the font of helping you get better, but I don't have a life. I don't have, you know, but I broke all those rules because of my very nature. Like I would go in and somebody would say, oh, I'm so, you know, sad about my gallbladder. I go, I know, I had my gallbladder out 2 years ago. It was awful. And I'd sit on the edge of their bed and I would connect with them. And there was a therapeutic connection there. And I was their favorite nurse, right? But it was not. Don't tell my nursing instructors.
Right.
Don't tell my nursing managers.
Wendy, you broke rules?
Imagine.
I'm
shocked. But I agree with you. There is something about that human connection that does make us more credible. And vulnerability can be kind of a scary word, but just transparency, authenticity. Like I'm made of flesh and bone, just like you are.
Right.
You said about being at the front, like at the forefront, like I know everything and I'm your business coach or I'm your health coach, do what I say. That I learned when I got my master's in education. I loved this distinction. You don't want to be sage from the stage. You want to be guide from the side.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's a very big difference. Mm-hmm. So this has been great. Laura, tell people how they can find you and get your wisdom and maybe connect with you.
Yeah, I have a website. It's www.encore, ENCORE, revolution, REVOLUTION.com. And then you can also, I do a lot of speaking and things like this. The podcast, I promote it on my Facebook page as well. So it's facebook.com/Encore Revolution. So that's where I post more of like events and speaking engagements. But I do a combination of consulting and online programs, and so it's really a way to work with whatever people's needs are.
Great. Can you tell me we're taping this in my home and there's something to do more? I know. It's very exciting. I'm going to let these guys say goodbye to you. I apologize.
Okay.
Thanks so much. I'll be back.
All right.
Thank you so much, Laura. It was
Thank
great
you, Laura.
to have a
This was
conversation
really
with you.
awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. This was great. I love talking about it, as you can tell. So I'm honored to be part of your series, and hope that it gives people some good nuggets of information that they can jump into their next step.
Okay, great. Well,
Yes,
thank you
thank
very
you
much.
so much.
And everybody, thank you for being here with Mighty Married Moms. And please leave us a rating and a review on iTunes, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Mighty Married Moms. Tune in twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays to meet fascinating and inspiring guests who will help you create the life you've always wanted.
You can find these episodes and special gifts just for you at mightymarriedmoms.com, as well as a link to our Facebook community,
where we continue the conversation around the kitchen table. Please also help share the love by leaving a review on iTunes. We'll see you next time.